Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. This is scene for Hong Kong by Night, not to be confused with the other by Nights. This is also called House of Cards. Tonight we have the Kuie-Jin are gathering at the Emerald Mother at the call of the Emperor's right hand, Azumi Takahashi. They'll be directed to a private room in the bar, and so they can speak freely uh, on equation matters. The room's been scanned for bugs and is currently being protected from anybody else overhearing them. Uh, and this is where we'll start our scene.
Okay. Z will probably be there first. She's a bit of a obsessive compulsive type, um, and she gives the bar, at least the area where she's sitting in, a little bit of a once over. Um, she's had her run-ins with little listening devices in her past. After she's set, she'll get a little drink to maybe take a little bit of the evening's edge off.
Understandable.
She's scarlet cycled, so she appears very mortal. Um, Actually, kind of like eyes the room.
The bouncer will after you get your drink, we'll lead you to the room that Azumi is currently located in.
Okay. And she will thank the bouncer. Thank you.
You're welcome.
She will kind of slowly into the room a little bit maybe with a little bit more trepidation than she should have. Um, and Zumi isn't in here yet, right? She's just waiting for us all to meet first.
Uh, wait. Yeah, she'll be coming in just a second
Okay.
after we get everybody else in here.
Okay, that makes sense. No problem.
Okay. Jolie walks out of the bathroom and goes to order himself a big drink.
Question scene, man. The bartender will get your order, and yeah, uh, you will get your order and direct you to the room that the meeting is going to be in.
Cool. And he goes with that big tankard of everything in said room.
Brother Cheng Gomoy, on the other hand, presumably he's able to get into the club, no problem, and he's probably been given like some contact that he has to speak to first before he gets directed to the meeting proper.
Yes.
Obviously, he's Scarlet cycled himself for this particular evening because he has to go amongst humans and he has to look at least somewhat past for living, even though it's not really his kind of thing now that he's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. He just goes to the bartender and he just hello. I'm here for Miss Takahashi.
Yes. She's going to be in a room down the hall to your left. She'll be there in a little bit. She's currently finishing up her shift as bouncer.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Brother Cheng goes to said room. He probably sees Julie around around that time. We meet again.
It was inevitable.
Agreed.
Takes a slow drink.
After a slow little bit, the bone flowers socializing, and the devil tiger in the other corner and just watching them like a piece of meat or a puzzle. uh, the said thrashing dragon comes into the room and closes the door and locks it and goes, "Hello, everybody. I know Jolie knows who I am. But the other two I haven't met yet. I'm Azumi Takahashi, Thrashing Dragon, and out of character. I'm going to have to pull up her sheet
Not
for the other stuff. I'm the Emperor's right hand, and I'm I've been told by the Emperor to call this meeting to discuss current events and strategizing uh, and bringing together some new Wu members because of said recent events, uh, one of one of me and Jolie's members had actually come up missing.
Ziggy will stand and bow as Sumi enters the room, and she'll listen very intently as she speaks. Even though she has those kind of like cold, dead eyes, much like a shark, she seems to give this heightened level of difference to this thrashing dragon. When she's done speaking, she will introduce herself as well. She says, I am Ziggy, Sagacious Sorrow amongst my people. Celestial Devil of the Eastern Direction. It's a pleasure to meet your acquaintance.
Pleasure, and she'll return the bow. And you are turning into Brother Chang.
Brother Chang, takes a step forward and gives a light bow. He's probably a lot bigger than, well, I say a lot bigger. He's probably a little bit bigger than his contemporary.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Brother Cheng Gormoy, south-facing of the Song of the Shadow.
Another bone flower. My sources told me you and Jolie's talents might be coming of use here in recent nights. Well, upcoming nights, I should say.
Why ask a stone to shed light?
We'll get to that in just a second. Please sit. As she finishes what she was saying and bows politely.
Okay.
As you all know, I'm the Emperor's right hand, but I'm also the tower and somewhat co-leader of the Wu of what was the out of character?
Don't have a.
The what?
We don't have a name. Literally, we are the only Wu. Period.
We're currently the only Wu in the city, so we haven't decided on a name yet. One of our number was learning our his different dharma, and while doing that during the incursion with the forces of Yomi, we incurred with had an incursion with a while back had disappeared. Uh, Still trying to find him, but as of right now, our current intention is to an upcoming council meeting and uh, hold on, I need to find my train of thought again. um, and the different disappearances that this his may have been me connected to, and currently we've gotten word from our sources that a mage is currently wielding powers of is wielding the forces of the race. We need the Emperor has ordered me to bring us together as a Wu to investigate these happenings.
During my time amongst my flock, my garden that I must tend to, I've encountered a lot of our guests to the city. It's become evident that there are some of them that tread through our kingdom with quite a deal of hubris and arrogance. There are these creatures that say they work magic, which believe that it is within their power to contain Bakudo and demons and bane spirits of all types. The tale was, at least last night, that they had technology that could contain these spirits and then inject them into cybernetic implants of some kind.
That's not a good thing. Do you know what they're trying to do with these pieces of technology that should not be happening?
I don't know yet, but I believe I have one of those arrogant mortals under my thumb. If I prod him enough, I'm sure he'll give us what we need.
Agreed. Do what you need to do to get what we need to investigate this.
Just kind of lower her head in deference again.
I'm currently working to bring some influence on my current employer here at the club. Uh, his name is Riker Lynch. He is one of the Western changelings, uh, known as the She, and he wields some influence with the local triads that I'm trying to. Hopefully, through him, I'll be able to get my own influences to where we can at least have some eyes within the mortal communities. But as for the raid problem, we would need the intel of our resident boneflowers here. As she turns to the two of them.
What is it that you need to know?
I need to know how this lightning person, this will worker, is able to harness the power of the race. And where is she hiding so we can bring her under heel?
Those matters are separate, yet not exclusive to one another.
I understand.
The how how do I put this? Wraiths are complicated creatures. They're filled with desire, lust, wonder, whatever scraps of human emotion that they can find. They're sad, and they need their own understanding and love and respect that some people tend to neglect. They have their own ways of interacting, and they have their own means of getting to where we are. That being said, I have witnessed the well workers do some impossible things with the race in question. Some things that I don't even know which discipline would I use to actually make the same effect. But
When
they
the
did.
spirit desires, the ebon shell will crack. You are west facing.
Indeed, I am.
Would it not be sensible to use the discipline of tapestry?
If I knew it, yes. Currently, I'm studying something that would... I'm under orders, so to speak, to learn a certain discipline that would give me a greater control over the spirits of both the living and the dead. And I am up to my brinks with scrolls, parchments, other words of knowledge and power that would give me greater knowledge and insight into said discipline. And he taps his head. And you can see that there is sort of a line forming there when he taps it.
Albeit from us to keep you from perusing the path of your enlightenment.
That being said, I wouldn't know with whom to discuss at the current time in order to gain such insight into the discipline of tapestry.
As it stands, that not being the option, an option, excuse me, grammatically correct. That's me out of character, slipping up. That not being an option to take, what is the most favourable outcome from our intervention in this matter?
I would I would prefer not to travel to the Yin realms if that's an option.
So far, my sources are currently investigating pocket areas of the Yin realm that have encroached on the one of the living. Uh, but they're meeting with some heavy resistance. I wouldn't suggest it either if I could help it.
Hmm.
And other than that, um, as far as I'm aware of, there's only been one incursion with the said mage, um, Samantha, and I'm not even going to have y'all P&E this. She said this was a very big snarl on her lips.
Hmm.
So y'all can catch the drift that this is not a person she likes and she would want dead. Um, she was one of the will workers that was part of the organization that was working with the Yomi forces that we incurred a while back, albeit she's still a potent will worker in her own right. She's currently in possession of these wraiths,
Hmm.
and now after that one incursion, she's gone into hiding.
Are there no resources available to search her out? Or is it simply a matter of manpower?
Our resources are to search her out, and in the meantime, throw our feelers out through the other communities so we can have the manpower to, if there is an assault being required on one of her strongholds in the uh, in the appropriate realms, we'll have it at our backing. But right now, we need to search her out. There is one particular wraith that's made his way back to his body at least for a short time. That will be a great resource to us, and he's an ally of a common enemy with this Samantha.
That sounds very fortuitous.
Yes, I believe his name was Ping. I believe that was the name that came to my ears. He, albeit if you find him, he will be followed by a raven, from what I've been told. Uh, get with him, see what he knows, see what he can help us with. Albeit he's a little bit worried about this one entity known as Chiron or Chiron. I've done a little bit of study in Greek mythology. He showed up there underneath that name as the ferryman of the dead. So we may have to also watch out for him as well if things escalate too far.
So, an entity of a different kingdom walks our lands.
I don't know if he will be in that aspect or that identifying himself as that. He may show up as an aspect we recognize, albeit he'll if he does, Ping would see him as he should be, or how he would see him.
Just like in the Skinlands, there are many kingdoms amongst this world, and the one that this individual that you mentioned, Charon, is in a different one than our own. Troubling.
Is it is it possible because Hong Kong was just returned to the hands of China 20 years ago that he still has it influencing?
More than likely, and it may have not waned since the switch because his influences are over death.
I see.
From my research, my school research, albeit that the information is coming from the perspective of mortals.
Right. This is very troubling.
Here's the problem. The kingdom of the dead stretches out from my memory beyond the borders of China within the Himalayan mountains, and our Ebony Kingdom shouldn't necessarily intersect with
Kingdom.
Ebon. Sorry, out of character slip up. Ebon Kingdom shouldn't intersect with those of Iron. The fact that it does, it's troubling in and of itself. That means that Western wraiths are trying to invade in the Ministry's territory. I shall need to have a word with them.
Agreed. Especially if it endangers an ally, we would have to make sure these Western races stay out as much as possible until such time we can hand them this Samantha.
Treat them with respect. They are of the dead. That being said, we need to be cautious.
ZE has a particular look on her face where you said treat them with respect, but she still bows in deference, nonetheless. She understands some of the wisdom of the Song of the Shadow. But to her, these are just creatures that have escaped their karmatic balance, karmatic cleansing, and the proper turning of the cycle.
I have duties to fulfill in that case, and talk to the ministries. It won't be a pleasant conversation.
Agreed. I'm not. I would say I would like to be there when it happens, but then again, I don't want to be the fly on that wall when it does happen. Old friend.
Well, it's my duty. I have to fulfill it.
Alright.
As always, if there's anything I can help you, anything I could do to help in this duty or any other, please feel free.
Mm.
I also offer my services, if required.
Two sets of eyes are better than
Though I
one.
recommend that, though I would recommend that my services be utilized only as a last resort.
Albeit, I'd agree with two eyes are better than one. Having at least one bone flower here and one in the Deadlands, at least for a short time, uh, would be most beneficial since we'll be having to deal with the Braves here while Jolie is out talking with the ministry. Uh, it uh, it would be would be a more advantageous plan to do. Albeit, I would like to see some you take either you take Jihi with you, Jolie, just to make sure you have some backup, and into this just in case you would have to fight. Last time you went realm hopping, you kind of came up space case.
What was broken can always be mended. That being said, I'm taking our little friend with us. Mm. E- the two new Kuie-Jin can perception empathy that.
Gladly.
Sure.
Oh, I need to raise my empathy, apparently.
Zumi does not need to roll because she knows what she's
Izumi
talking
knows.
about.
Izumi knows.
She'll
Because she knows it's the same friend that she has as well.
You can't see my dice, but I have 5 successes. Unless 10s count in this one. I
what
don't
was your
think
tens?
uncanny instincts really accounts for this one, so
For this time, I'll let you let you go with it.
alright,
So
in that case, it's 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 successes.
okay. Um.
God damn.
Oh,
And
and the devil tiger over there.
Two successes.
Just saying, fine.
okay, I believe you.
Yeah.
Uh,
I have 2 successes. I have a 7 and an 8. The rest is a 5, a 2, and a 2. So
All right, my
From-
seven successes. I'll let Flavio take this one.
Woos have Nushi.
Mhm.
He's referring to the Nushi of the Wu.
not to be
that-
confused with Nuisha. It's something different.
No, it's kind of like
It's
the
something different. It's basically like a totem spirit for Kuie-Jin.
exactly. He's referring
I'll
to
tell you
that.
I'll tell you about the one that we have in Kyoto after the scene's finished.
Love it.
Cool. But yeah, he's referring to the Nushi. You both can pick that one up with ease.
Yeah. She'll nod. All right. Just be careful.
Always.
Uh, Consider this woo bonding, uh, getting to know each other over the course of future nights. Um, be careful of the Western shifters known as the Black Spiral Dancers. They're underneath the protection of the House of Swords, but they are also uh, their own kind of corruption, and the Western shifters, the shifters of the Guru Nation is currently have them under watch because they've during the incursions with the forces of Yomi, they consecrated one of their own places of power on top of what I heard was called an infernal node.
Mm.
And that's and they give the Black Spiral Dancers a wide berth, albeit they are working with us within under the armistice. I don't want to get stabbed in the back. We've already, me and Jolie have already came to blows with several of their kind once before their representative Drake Xenos came forward. They're even more treacherous than we have to deal with on a regular basis, or maybe what we have to deal with on a regular basis overshadows them. I'm not strictly sure yet, but they're almost equal in their treachery.
They have sated my hunger many a time.
Agreed, and she'll just run her tongue across her teeth. But also be careful when sating your hungers in combat on their chi. They're very off balance into the life chi,
Mm.
albeit it's stained with yin chi.
Z, you will nod at that. It's very good advice. Very good wisdom.
I have ways.
We all have ways.
On
No.
top of everything else, be wary of the Metal Dragon's headquarters of Innovatech. They moved there before the Infernalist forces of Yomi, but they're not strictly a problem
Mm.
until they make themselves a problem.
I have gifted my gifts to the proper authorities that have the power to deal with them in an appropriate manner. Though when that will happen is another matter entirely.
Agreed. And when happens, I'm sensing another strike again, and at least hopefully we'll be more prepared that uh, for this one. The last one I led, and I was kind of spying on off the seat of my pants, for lack of a better term.
Hmm.
And one of the House of Cups pulled a sword that freaking made my demon self and myself go flying off the handle.
The House of Cups, that's Ferris, right?
Yes, that's the fairies. Albeit Phoenix is no longer in the city. Which I'm glad of that. I wouldn't. I would be leery around anybody that could tie such power to a sword.
Forgive me for asking, but do we know if the sword has left with him?
As of what I've heard, it passed into the hands of their leader, known as King Dartmouth, because he ordered its retrieval from Phoenix before he left.
See, you would nod again. Just wanted that. I was just hoping that threat would be accounted for. So it's good news.
It's good. That's fine, and it's been rectified. Um,
If measures need to be taken to acquire this in order to ensure that it's not used against our court,
I
should consider it an option.
I'll consider it an option when it has to happen. But right now, I have assurances from King Dartmouth that it won't be necessary, and he preferred in his custody, or at least uh, one of his people's custody, because what was it? It said it was a artifact of great power for them, and powers of disbelief harms anything of their works. Um, but for right now, be that as it may, it stays in the hands of the House of Cups until the Bodhisattva or King Dark orders its immediate removal into the custody of the host. Uh, but if it does show up in somewhere else, it is known by the name of Oathbreaker.
Hmm.
Oathbreaker.
There was a there was a strange fae who was calling a one of those will workers Oathbreaker. I'm assuming no correlation.
No correlation. Albeit I may have heard of this strange fae, and she pulls out her cell phone and shows the group the picture. My employer, Riker, is giving his bouncer team his picture and explicit instructions that he is to be watched, and once he enters the embrace of the Emerald Mother here, he's to be strip searched and not allowed to have any kind of weapons whatsoever, because what he told us in the security meeting, he is a war veteran from a bygone throwback from a bygone war time era of theirs, and he was one of their more experienced torture artists, and he started liking um, liking his art a little bit too much. It was going into the realm of sexual ecstasy for him.
I encountered this one in a park just last night. He seems more as if he is more harmful to himself than to others, though I don't think he is on our agenda. At
No.
least he is not interested in us as of yet. He seems more interested in perhaps the metal dragons. He seemed more interested in breaking the stasis, as he put it.
They have a
I think he will burn himself out with the bare minimum of prodding in their direction, if it so comes to that.
agreed. If it comes to that, the sensitivity of disbelief of the changeling should be our strongest weapon, and prodding him into towards the Iron Dragon's den will be most beneficial to us if it comes to that. But until then, he's to be watched within the confines of here. But uh, he's an oddity of this time, and I'm not saying it's a priority watch, but it'd be a most interesting learning experience from it to get more insight into these Western cousins of the Hessian.
Agreed. Though as our Dharma demands, drink deep of the Ebon Dragon, but beware the Scarlet Queen.
Too true. Too true.
It differs from your Dharma, but you chose your path, we chose ours. I will not dispute your own progression, as you would not dispute our bodhisattvas.
And I'll do the same. But as of right now, we kind of have our fingers in a lot of different pies, so to speak. And um, and the Bodhisattva and I wouldn't mind having information dealing with these different fields of interest, with the priority of the forces of the Yang world and this will worker. Uh, Currently, there is something going on with fusion technologies. According to the bounty board, I've been hearing some interesting uh, intel on that. Does anybody else have any intel that could help me clarify things for that one to talk and tell the Bodhisattva?
On that matter, I already given my knowledge as a gift towards the one called Styles.
Oh,
Whether he acted upon it or not is up to him.
well, I'll make it a point to try and get a hold of his Styles, albeit she rubs her temples just slightly, a very unique individual. Uh, if not, I'll get a hold of Arthur Wainwright. He's the temperance of the higher arcanum is and a seatmate for that for said such. So if any news of that has come from Styles, it will go to him.
Very well.
I didn't understand much of this information, but the will workers that were discussing things at the bar said that Fusion Tech was working with Pentex and and possibly an order that some of the will workers used to belong to. Um,
Such matters are beyond my direction.
they seem quite interesting. If I have the leave of the Emperor, I would like to explore this.
Yes, you have the leave of the Emperor. Uh, as of right now, do what you need to do to try and get as much information in this as you can. Uh, it's been under suspicion for some time. I, I want to make sure where this company's loyalties are, and if it's with this Pentex, we may have a trump card with with the House of Swords, at least one half of it in the upcoming future.
We are gracious hosts, and we take care of our guests.
Agreed.
He gives a grim smile at that.
She'll smile back and say agreed.
No, I must make the proper preparations with the various ministers and my mentor as well. Are there any other matters that need discussing?
She pulls out she scrolls through her phone. Yes. We need. I have a feeling we're going to need eyes in this Home Institute. At some point, it may be nothing, but some disturbing rumors of some of our banished brother siblings and in different dharmas, and our guests may have come up in there. Uh, well, acting like they're human. But then after they appeared there, they disappeared from even their records just as quickly. Unfortunately, one of them was the previous what official known as Jonathan Black of House of Cups. And by now, if he's been seen in there for too long a length of time, he's no longer of the House of Cups or in the Night community as a whole. Due to the House Cup's sensitivity to disbelief. But that's the lowest priority on the list.
Yes. This fusion tech and its where its tendrils lead into our community and perhaps beyond, deep into the West. That seems to be quite a pressing concern.
Agreed. We need to contain this fusion tech here at the source before it crosses the border of the rising sun. Currently, Jolie, the Bodhisattva, and your mentor are trying to get a hold of different teachers into different disciplines. They've answered and they're trying to come as best they can. Uh, the issue is that most of them will have to be coming by private owned transport. Partly because they want to go underneath radar due to due to the previous the events of the not so distant past. They should
Understandable.
but they should be helpful in other venues. But they're also worried if it crosses their border, they may not be they not view it so lightly. Um, well, wouldn't say lightly, but I have a lack of better term for it. They would accelerate the situation with extreme prejudice.
Oh, look, a Japanese infringing on Chinese business. What a shock.
This the emperor's also called in some of our stateside brethren in arms, so to speak, and they're also coming. Albeit because they're here as teachers, but by the time they're here, that's who's to say what's stopping them from helping us in other matters.
We are the gracious hosts. We will treat our guests with kindness and remind them the moment they need to walk away.
Agreed. But until their arrival, we need to get our feelers out in this. As of now, I'll submit to the Bodhisattva that the Wu has been reconstituted, and will and our eyes and ears are out in the field once again.
Z will not, kind of like, wow.
She'll bow
Jolie
back.
will give another bow.
And I don't want to keep you from your duties, each of your duties with your respective dharmas. At some point, I will be calling you for regular meetings like this, just to touch base and keep in contact. Uh, with these progressively becoming more interesting nights in the nights ahead, we'll need to keep close uh, to each other, but we also need to keep our enemies closer.
Very wise advice. Well, if you will excuse me, Honorable Zumi, Z will stand.
She'll bow to Zihi.
I will take my leave, my newly pronounced brothers. She bows again to each of the bone flowers in turn. And she'll down her drink and go off to do some research.
bows back in return. I'll leave you to touch base as well. I need to make some preparations with the Grey Lady. Talking to the ministries is a tedious matter in and of itself. Bows and walks off back to the bathroom.
She'll bow and let you go go your usual way.
Brother Chang, in suit, gives a bow to Izumi. May I be
She'll bow.
excused?
Yes, you may.
If I'm needed, I will make myself available. With that, he leaves the room.
And with that, I believe we can end our scene here. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, viewers, for watching. Yes, I saw you. I saw you flash in there. This has been an edition for Hong Kong House of Cards, and the Kuie-Jin are taking the board. And with that, Izumi will walk out, go by the way of the ladies' room, and leaves the shadow of the Emerald Mother's wings. Thank you, and good night.